Alright guys, I missed the start, so I'm probably about half a lap behind now. Love racing these Skip Barber cars. A little far away from the pedals. I may have to keep my seat up just a hair more. I'll probably do that right now. There we go, that's better. Much better. And I still lost 2x, lost control. Just trying to get a 0x. Maybe if I just get that 2x only, it'd be okay. Alright, here we go. Let's try to put up some times here. Man, just about lost it again. Maybe I should have got some practice in these things instead of gridding right there at the last second when I actually kind of sort of missed start a little bit. I should have got a couple practice laps. I've been racing oval racing in the NIS at Indy, the Winter NIS Series. I just got out of that 2-hour race. And take a few minute break, stepped away, and came back and accidentally barely missed the start of the grid there.
The car in front, going off. One on the right side. Clear, clear.
That guy. You guys can let me know if VR is okay now. I mean, I'm doing the Oculus. I think it's a little more smooth when I turn my head than the Reverb G2 used to be. It's got some motion smoothing built into the video stream. Crap, I got another axe. Can't get no more. I'm going to basically break even. I'm trying to gain safety rating. Another 1x. Daggone it. Got a 4x this race, so I'll probably break even on safety. Can't turn the wheel much in this Skip Barber. That's what I need to get used to again. You just barely turn the wheel and kind of control the speed with brakes and throttle. And just turn it a little bit.
Left side. Still there.
What the fuck?
Clear.
What the fuck was that, bro? Use your brake.
The guy in front of me is doing somersaults, guys. Crazy.
Speed
I
1
might do
is
one
the
more of these
fastest car
before I
on the
go to
track.
bed.
51.21.
Just get warmed up in this one. You gotta slow down completely before the turn these things. You don't have too much speed at all. You take it into the turn in them.
That's it. Those are the lap times we need, man. Keep digging.
And then once you get slowed down, then you can kind of point the car straight out of them. That way you're not turning in the turn. It's kind of weird to say, but that's really how you gotta drive these things. Anytime you really start to give it any kind of wheel in the turn, you saw right there my back end kind of kicked around on me a little bit. I see some smoke up here. Somebody wrecked or something. Maybe not.
Speed 1 is the fastest car on the racetrack. 51.002.
51, that's what I gotta hit. Gee. Fast. This guy up here is still popping wheelies and stuff in front of me. Just about to blink. There he goes. He blinked off the track for a second there. He must have a bad internet connection. There we go.
Up, one off course, one off course. Couple up pitting in front of you. Fastest lap you've run yet.
Still on 11th though. That guy did another big flip in the air. Lost a little bit of turn that big roundabout carousel thing, Barber, whatever that is. Here we go. That guy was off track. Passed him. He up in 7th place, 8th place, something like that. 8th, I think. I'm the 13 car, so are you doing better than my reading? I forgot to turn my race
Damn,
side
dog,
apps
that was a good lap
on.
right there.
Yeah, I forgot to turn on VR mode, so I don't have any of my stats up here about how much iRating I'm losing. or gaming, either one. Whoa, there, oh, just the wheel got ripped out of my hand. Oh, gee. Oh, I got 7X. Wow. Rear end touched the grass and the wheel just got ripped out of my hand. Ah. Tell you what, guys, anybody that says they need a like ridiculously strong wheel is insane. I have a DD1 and it does. Yeah, the crazy thing about the DD1, I'm actually probably going to do a talking head video about this on my channel. Is it upload here soon? But so the thing about the DD1 is when they first released the DD1, they advertised it as a 20 Newton meter wheelbase.
Is the fastest car on the racetrack.
And that's how they advertised it, because at that time it was like when a lot of the direct drives were first making it to market that were kind of sort of affordable. I think the DD1 was $1,200 and the DD2 $1,500. And that's not super affordable, but I mean, yeah, it's where some people were buying it. It was in the enthusiast, kind of high-end enthusiast, not like pro. I don't know. It's not the high enthusiast level, but yeah, I mean, kind of. If you don't pay that much just for a wheelbase, no wheel, no pedals, and it was what it was in the price bracket back then. And like all these wheel manufacturers were trying to race to the top to see who could like release the most powerful wheelbase, you know, and SimCube and SimMagic, they're all coming out with like 25, 30 Newton meter. I think one of the most powerful ones that was out there was a 30 Newton meter wheelbase. And so Fanatic was like, well, our DD1 is 20 Newton meters and our DD2 is 25 Newton meters. But then when you got the reading and the details, it's 25 Newton meters what they call peak torque and 15 Newton meters is sustained torque. And I never quite understood that. I used to think that like that meant that
the car in front going
that it could do 20 Newton meters. So like you would
watch that car down there. Stay right.
So that you would like when you go into iRacing and tell iRacing how strong your wheel is, that you would put the wheel is 20 Newton meters of strength. And then, you know, it could do 20 Newton meters as part of its range, but then, you know, if it was like a long, sustained amount of power, that it would drop down, so it just couldn't hold it for that long. And that's how I thought it was. So I thought I had a 20 Newton meter wheelbase. That's what they advertised it as, and it just couldn't sustain 20 forever, but you could do it. And the same thing with the DD2. When you had the DD2, I thought you had a 25 Newton meter wheelbase, and the sustained torque on that was 20 Newton meters. Well, it turns out that's not exactly true. And Fanatic has recently switched up their marketing and switched up what it says inside of their Fanatic control panel or Fanalabs, or they got two programs they install. Fanalabs, you got the Fanatic driver control panel thing. And so, but really what the 20 Newton meter peak and the 15 Newton meter sustained is the idea of overshoot. That when the wheelbase is actually a 15 Newton meter wheelbase, they're saying now. But sometimes whenever it goes to a high torque value, that it overshoots the 15 Newton meter target and overshoots up to possibly 20 briefly. And so now Fanatic has brought out the Club Sport DD and the Club Sport DD Plus. And those wheelbases, the Club Sport, sorry, my headset had to adjust it. The Club Sport DD is 12 Newton meter, and the Club Sport DD Plus is 15 Newton meters. So you're like, oh, well, originally you'd say, okay, well, then the DD1 or the DD1 is still relevant because it's 20 Newton meters, so they got a nice progression. You know, you got a 5 Newton meter offering in the CSL DD, and then the CSL DD with the boost pack, you got 8 Newton meters, and you got the Club Sport DD at 12, then the Club Sport DD Plus at 15, and then you'd have the DD1 at 20 Newton meters and the DD2 at 25. is what I was thinking their lineup was going to kind of say and be, and how they were going to try to promote it. But then they had the Black Friday sale, and they had their DD1 and DD2s on sale for like rock bottom prices. I mean, you could get a DD1 with the Formula Wheel rim. So you got the DD1 base and the Formula Wheel rim, and they were selling them for less than what they were selling the Club Sport DD Plus for. It was like they were selling them for like $6 or $7.99. I think $6.99, which is the same price as the new Club Sport DD, which was 12 newton meters. I'm like, what are they doing? I mean, it was an insane deal. And I have a DD1, by the way, so I was thinking, wow, if I want somebody want to buy a DD1, that's an insane deal. Well,
yeah, man, you keep concentrating, hustle that thing.
I started doing some research on it, and so then I was like, and then they were selling the DD2 with a rim. I think it was the Formula one for it was like for $8.99, $7.99, $8.99, maybe it was $8.99. I can't remember. And they sold out of those real quick, the DD2s. And so to kind of wrap the story up, I was like, I guess they're just trying to get rid of their DD1 inventories. And I think they want people even to upgrade, possibly, from the... And it's not really an upgrade, it's more of a lateral move. From the DD1, say, to like a CSL DD Plus or something. And so they did something sneaky. They used to advertise this as a 20 newton meter wheelbase. And then that's it. Inside of the control panel and inside of the Fanalabs, if you would turn it has a percentage slider for the percentage of force feedback you want to use, and you have it from 0 force feedback up to 100%. And before, they just had the slider, it just gave a percentage. It would say 0% and it would say 100%. And and that was it. 0, not 0 or 100, but 0 and anything between 0 and 100. But when I say that was it, it just gave the percentage. So if you set it 60%, it just say 60%. I'm tired. If you set it to 50, it just said 50, and if you set it to 100, it just said 100%. And so now, in the most recent driver update, now it says it just gives the percentage only until you get to 100%. But when you put the wheelbase at 100% force feedback now, in the drivers, the Fanatic control panel or Fanalabs, either one, it does it in both. When you slide the slider for the force feedback power up to 100%, now instead of saying 100%, it says, I don't know if it says the newton meters and the percentage or just the newton meters, but once you get to 100%, it labels it. It says 15 newton meters is 100% force feedback on this thing.
Here's the fastest car on the tractor.
And I was thinking,
50,
whoa,
0.8.
What happened? Because when I got my DD1, they marketed my DD1 as a 20 newton meter wheel, not a 15 newton meter wheel. And now all of a sudden, since they released the Club Sport DD and Club Sport DD Plus, now you go into the drivers and you turn the force feedback up to 100%, and now it actually says right there after the slider that when you turn it to 100%, it says 15 newton meters. So saying 15 newton meters on this wheelbase now is 100%. And I'm wondering what they've done. Have they just changed the label? Did they take a little bit of the peak power down in this thing? And did some of the driver updates make it to where it doesn't overshoot to 15 anymore and it stays right at 15, just like the Club Sport DD Plus does? Where they don't overshoot anymore. I'm just wondering, because it could be them fixing the motor and just saying, okay, it doesn't overshoot anymore. Like the overshoot was just something we couldn't stop. But they used to market it at 20 newton meters, so they could have fixed it and said now it's just sustained torque, it doesn't overshoot. If they did that, then I guess changing the label to 15 would be correct and accurate. But I don't know, maybe they're doing it so nobody will buy the DD1 anymore. And really, for that matter, I don't know if anybody would want the DD2, but maybe they're doing it to pretty much get rid of the DD1s and replace the DD1s. When I say replace, I don't mean like replace everybody's actual unit they got, but I'm talking about as far as their lineup, on their website, what to buy. I'm wondering if they're wanting to kind of do away with the DD1s and replace them in their lineup. completely with the DD Plus, the Club Sport DD Plus, and then maybe keep the DD2 as kind of like the ultra high end with the highest force feedback. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like the change in that number and the slider, and there's a change in marketing and advertising for the DD1 that's different when it comes to force feedback strength and stuff. Whenever they, when they first released it, and what they had marketed so far in it up until now. And I know that it has something to do, I'm sure it has something to do with the release of the Club Sport DD and especially the Club Sport DD Plus. And I just think it's a little fishy. It's a little I don't know, it's a little bait and switch on the marketing of what it is to the people who had one for a while. And I hope, what I really hope the case is, and I might do some research of this when I do my talking head video about it on the channel, but this is kind of a preview of that conversation. But if I do some research, I'm hoping what I'll find is that if I find anything, I might be one of the only people that notice this. But I'm hoping that it was a driver update, that, and that's happened. So like when they released the CSL DD and they with the 5 Newton meter and the boost pack to 8, they really started rewriting the drivers for direct drive wheels, because prior to release of the or prior to the release of the CSL DD line of wheels or wheelbases, basically they were using the old drivers. And when I say the old drivers, I mean the drivers meant for the belt-driven wheelbases, like the drivers for the Club Sport B2.5 and the CSL Elite. Yeah, they were writing it for those wheelbases, and those were belt-driven wheelbases. And then they provided support within those force feedback framework or code for the new direct drive wheels, which were the DD1 and DD2. And it wasn't the greatest experience. I had my DD1 prior to the release of the CSL DDs, and I can tell you I got it probably a month or two before their release, and then they didn't update the brand new drivers that brought the DD1 and DD2 into that mix until a few months after they had released the CSL DD. And the reason I say the experience wasn't that great is it really had something in there called torque ripple, and a lot of people who have just getting direct drive wheels, especially one of the CSL DD wheels, or one of the CSL DD base, whether it be the 5 or 8 Newton meter, or if you have like the Moza base or something like that, SimMagic, SimaCube, if that's all you've ever had, you really don't know what I mean by torque ripple. And a lot of the early direct drive wheels, including the DD1 and DD2, had that torque ripple, and what it felt like was notchiness, almost like a gear-driven wheelbase, like a Logitech G27, G29, or even maybe a crappy belt-driven. I don't know. It was graininess and notchiness in when you would turn the wheel, when you were using the wheel, and it was called torque ripple because the drivers were built for belt-driven wheels, and they just kind of cobbled together, and implemented the DD1 and DD2 into those drivers that were meant, the code that was meant for a belt-driven wheelbase, and that's how you got the torque ripple, and it was pretty bad. They had something in the Fanalab software called interpolation, which helped with that. A lot of people claim this because iRacing only has 60 Hz force feedback, or only had 60 Hz force feedback, and that was contributing to the torque ripple, and it was noticeable. In fact, I kind of complained. I was thinking this wasn't as, people were talking about how smooth the direct drive was and how much better they were. I'm thinking this really wasn't as smooth as a feeling as my Club Sport 2.5 wheelbase I had. And but then later they completely rewrote the drivers from the ground up, and a buddy of mine, his name's David Robertson, We used to race the Open together some, and he pops into the Discord channel or Discord server every so often. He said, Mike, you gotta go. He had a DD1 or 2, and he says, Mike, you gotta go download these new drivers that they released for the direct drive wheels. And they were originally for the CSL, and they released them for all the direct drive wheels. They rolled the DD1 and DD2 into that code base. And I said, okay. And so I went and downloaded them and installed them, and it was a world of difference. He told me, he's like, man, it gets rid of all the torque ripple and stuff. And I said, really?
Nice
that was the
job,
major
fellas.
complaint. In
Good
fact,
job.
I was
Everybody,
thinking
great
about
weekend.
getting rid of
Hey, man,
my
have fun.
DD1
Everybody,
and
good job.
getting something else, like either going back to a club sport or buying another brand. I was looking at Sim Experience, which my buddy Tracy has, and just selling the DD1 or something and getting something different. But after that driver update, excuse me, after that driver update, I was able to completely, I was able to turn down the interpolation from like whatever I was running down to like 4. And then iRacing later introduced their smoothness setting, which is kind of like the same thing. And then I was able to turn my Fanatic interpolation down to 0, and then just turned a little bit of smoothing on iRacing. And but that driver update got rid of all the torque ripple, like all of it. Every complaint I had about the DD1, that driver update got rid of. And the reason being is that they rewrote the drivers from the ground up, and designed them specifically for direct drive wheels. And they got rolled out in the first major driver update for the CSL DD. But since there were 4 direct drive wheels, it was easy for them to incorporate the DD1 and the DD2 into that massive new driver rewrite specifically for the CSL DD. But I think that had been in development for a long time. I know you just can't come up with code really quickly, especially at the launch of a new product like that. That code had probably been in development for a couple of years to totally rewrite the drivers for direct drive wheels. And they were probably going to roll it out no matter if they would release the CSL DD or not, but I think it was a good time to roll it out.
Man,
But
turn it.
the point that I'm trying to make is
They're
it
light on fuel, man.
totally fixed
They're
it.
counting on caution,
And so,
or they made
I'm
a
just
mistake and
wondering-
didn't get all the fuel in there, like maybe they dropped on lugs,
Oh, be quiet.
or they're just getting that
Spotter.
good of fuel mileage. That's
Just want to finish out
I
this
wish I
live
could tell you,
stream
buddy. I
by
really,
saying
for the life of me, don't know. Right
that
here?
that I'm not sure if they changed that marketing because the CSL DD Plus came out, or the Club Sport DD Plus just came out, and it's 15 Newton meters, and they're trying to make it the most desirable wheel to get if you want a strong force feedback wheel, and kind of eliminate the DD1 out of the mix because it may be cheaper to manufacture this Club Sport DD Plus, and they want that to be the middle upper range of strong force feedback wheels, with the DD still being the strongest, and they're wanting to market it to where really the Club Sport DD Plus is better than the D1. Basically, it's the same force, but you get the QR2 quick release system built into the new Club Sport DD Plus. If you're buying a new one, you're getting all new Fanatic gear. You want to go ahead and jump into the quick release 2 system. And I'm getting ready to switch all my stuff over from QR1 to QR2. But I'm hoping it's not just a marketing thing. What I'm hoping is that from all these driver refinements that got rid of the torque ripple and all that stuff in a recent driver refinement, probably that went along with the release and the development for these new Club Sport DD wheels, that in the development for those, that they were able to incorporate some kind of software control over the magnetic motors in the wheelbase, that now they truly are 15 Newton meter wheelbases. Not that they took away power, but they took away that overshoot, right? The 20 Newton meters wasn't a feature. It was actually, when you actually studied the problem, it wasn't a feature like, oh, it gets 20 Newton meters, but if you're fighting the wheel real hard for a long time, it might drop down to 15. No, that's how they originally tried to sell it to us. But later on, I was watching a lot of YouTubers. Boosted Media Will at Boosted Media did a great video talking about it here a while back. He puts out tons of videos, so good luck trying to find it. But I watched it, and he was How about no, it's not a feature of the wheel to overshoot 20. It's actually a flaw in the motor they use on the DD1 and DD2 that it when it powered up to the torque real high, to those high Newton meter torque ranges, like 15 Newton meters, it overshoots and then comes back down to where it should be. It spikes and overshoots and comes back down. And so to me, that's more of a design flaw. So I'm hoping that it's not just a marketing ploy with at least the new Club Sport DD wheels. I'm hoping that, because that would be kind of crappy if that's what they did. I mean, but businesses do that. But what I'm hoping, guys, is that there's been a driver release and they fixed that flaw where it overshoots to 20. And it just is a regular 15 Newton meter wheelbase, which it probably should have always been marketed as, is what I'm hoping. So anyway, that's kind of a long story there, but it's something to listen to while you're watching me race. Hope you guys enjoyed this race here at Oulton Park. I really kind of suffered there with the 7X. I think I'm probably going to have lost safety rating here on this one. Let's see real quick. See if we gained or lost iRating. Okay, I broke even on safety. I broke even on safety, guys. You guys saw there on the screen. Broke even on safety, gained like 19 iRating. So that was just a warm-up practice. Didn't lose any safety. Didn't gain any, even though I got 7X. I want to race one more before I go to bed. I think if I could make it. I'm getting pretty tired. If I can make it, I'll race one more registered, but I can always back out. In fact, I think I might back out. I'm getting pretty tired. But anyway, I hope you guys appreciated the kind of the conversation I had here. And if any of you guys have a DD1, and go download the newest drivers. Go to the website, get the brand newest drivers, and download the newest fan labs that goes along with it, and you'll see what I'm saying. Go try it. You'll see that now when you get to 100%, it clearly states 15 Newton meters. And another thing I noticed in iRacing, you can, in iRacing, you set the Newton meter strength of your wheel, and then you set the force feedback strength you want the car to be, and then you can adjust that in your graphics black box. But the Newton meters are supposed to be accurate. Like, what is your wheel? What can your wheel do? So if you set your wheel to 100%, which is what I do in iRacing, I set my power on my wheel to 100%, and then I tell it 100% is X Newton meters. It's got a Newton meter slider. So for mine, I used to say 20 Newton meters. That's what they said it did. And then you set the strength that you want it to be, because it puts all the force feedback within that range of 0 to 20 Newton meters at that time. And I put it in manually. Well, iRacing has a checkbox there now, since I don't know when they put it in there. I haven't really noticed that you can tell it takes your wheel drivers, so it recognizes what wheel you have through the drivers, and you can check a box to automatically set the Newton meter strength to what iRacing says it should be for your wheel and what your manufacturer says. And if you check the auto button now for Fanatic DD1, it automatically defaults to 16 Newton meters. Let's just call it 15, same difference. So it doesn't default to 20, it defaults to 16. And I just went ahead and unchecked that and went manual and just slid it down to 15, because that's what the Fana Labs and drivers is saying that it is at 100% now. So you guys go check that out. You'll see what I'm saying. If you have the DD1, you check the auto button in iRacing, it'll say 16. And if you go into the Fana Labs or the Fanatic control panel, you'll see that 100% it actually says 15 Newton meters now. So you guys look into that too. I'll look into it, and if I find something more out, I'll probably do a little talking head discussion video about kind of what I found. So anyway, guys, appreciate you tuning in for this live stream. It was kind of fun. I love racing those open wheels in VR. It looks really cool. your head's kind of popped up and there's nothing around you. There's no window, there's no door, nothing. It's just you're kind of wide open spaces flying down the track. So I like doing the open wheel stuff when I do road. And so anyway, yeah, if you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate that very much. Helps channel grow. And if you want to click the bell icon, that'll get you a notification on your cell phone, your smartphone, if anytime we go live with a new live stream or we upload new content to the channel. And yeah, finally, if you like our videos, you like what we talk about, like what we do here at Area 51, just like to at least to ask if you would click the thumbs up like button. That lets YouTube know you like our stuff and will help us out in the YouTube algorithm, get our videos in front of more people. So that's much appreciated as well. Guys, thank you for joining us for this one. And as always, we will see you in the next one.